Good evening, good evening, good evening. I want to welcome you to this evening's edition of Yes You with Friends. And I am so glad that each of you have thought it well to join us on this fine day. This is Sunday. Can you believe that? March the 28th in the year 2021. And I'm here with my beautiful friends, Tyrone and Jana. You will see the absence of Rhonda. I don't know if she's going to make it or not, but she does have family members in the hospital. So we're sending her all kind of love and positive energy her way. Should you be listening, Rhonda, we sending you all kind of love from the rest of your friends and all the listeners out there that are viewing. So glad to have Mel with us on today. Good evening, Mel. Good to see you. You were in here bright and early and ready, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Thank you so much for coming. BTD Mom, I see you out there. Sister May Solomon, God bless you. These are my friends and sisters out here. Thank you for joining us on today. I'm so happy to see you on this afternoon. Now, what we're going to do is, as I always do, I like to take just a moment in time to let my friends kind of give us an update about what all has gone on in their world and what's going on with them at this present time. And so I'm going to start ladies first with Jana.
Good evening, everybody. This week's been pretty run of the mill. Nothing out of the ordinary has gone on. The kids are plugging along. We're in our last quarter, thank goodness. And the school district had, I think, 2 cases through the whole district this week. So that is quite a drop where we started at. But other than that, we did get a few more shots in the family this week. So a few more people got vaccinated. Some are on their second shot, and no complications so far. Everybody's doing pretty good. Other than that, same old, same old.
Awesome sauce. Awesome. So everybody's vaccinated, including the kids. Is that? Or you just talking
Oh
about
no!
adults?
I'm talking
Adults.
family in general.
Okay. Okay. Are they giving shots to kids yet? Do y'all know?
I think you have
I
to
don't
be
think so.
16.
Okay. Okay.
And
All
don't
right.
quote me on that, but I'm thinking 16 is the limit.
Got you. So then what are we doing with the kids that are in school? Just hopeful that they don't get it? Is that
Mhm.
the
Praying and watching.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, but your children are not in classroom right now, correct?
That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay. Now, would you be concerned about them? No, go ahead and finish what you were going to say.
They had the option to go back for the last quarter, but we declined. First of all, we still want to watch a little bit. And then I felt like it would be too much of a transition again. We
Mm-hmm.
might as well stick it on out. We only have a couple more months. So
Got you. Got you.
just stay
Excellent.
on home and finish it up.
Yeah.
And how do the kids feel about being away from their classmates? Are you getting any vibe?
They don't like it. They're tired of it and they want to see their friends, but um, it is what it is. We'll see them
Mm-hmm.
in the fall. They'll be there
Mm-hmm.
alive and well.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Good for you. Good for you. Brother Tyrone. Tyrone, you better call Tyrone. What's going on with you, sir?
Nothing much. Everything was pretty normal. Everything here in Texas has opened up, but it's really good to see that people are still continuing to wear their masks,
Good.
that people are still continuing to social distance. Even though, mandates and things have been lifted, it has been up to business owners how they want to handle protocol. And a lot of companies, especially larger companies, are still enforcing wearing your mask, social distancing, limited capacity, things of that nature. And believe it or not, we're all sitting around waiting because it's spring break for some, and I believe spring break was last week for others, how that's going to impact numbers and everything. But as of right now, believe it or not, like numbers are down here in Texas, in certain counties. And there's a huge conversation of people getting the vaccine, whichever vaccine it is. I think there's starting to become a shift of people who at one point had said they weren't going to get it, and you're starting to see a big shift in people, just doing it.
That's good.
So, but other than that, it's been pretty normal. Work, school. I just started. I don't know why I decided to, but I started a program of diversity and inclusion in the workplace with the
Mhm.
University of Florida.
Mhm.
So I started that this week also.
Excellent. I think that's wonderful. DEI is huge and it's going to be huge for a long time. So we've got quite a transition to go. And DEI, sometimes the industry start using all these initials. Like, what does that mean? Diversity, equity, inclusion. DEI is going to be huge, huge, huge. Just because we're on the cusp of this huge transition out of racism into inclusion. And so I think it's a very, very wise move on your part to get that under your belt, because it's companies. Everybody's going to need DEI for real. So.
And the crazy thing, it was actually free. A friend of ours told us about it with the University of South Florida. So signed up for it and throwing that on the table as well of something else to tackle for the next couple of weeks.
Awesome. And I personally recommend everybody needs to have DEI training, in my opinion. I think they ought to make that just like they onboard people on the job. I think they ought to onboard them and have a section on DEI, cultural sensitivity and those types of things. Now, make it mandatory. You got to sit there and watch it. You got to go through the training, whatever. And hopefully it'll make a difference in the long haul, because I think a lot of people, because their ignorance, and when I say ignorance, I'm not saying it in a derogatory way. I'm saying ignorance and not knowing, their lack of knowledge. I think the ignorance holds a lot of people hostage to their behaviors and everything else, because they really are ignorant. There are some people that are aware and choose to be hateful, but then there are some people that, because this has been their environment the whole time, they don't know anything differently to understand this is inappropriate or out of order. So good deal. Are you still work from home?
Yes. So my job was always work from home, even before the pandemic started. I would go into the office, but I'm totally work from home now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So between Jonna and Tyrone, they're talking about going hybrid in the employment services. Are you hearing any kind of trappings or chirpings that your particular companies may be going hybrid? Come on, Mel, teach the class. Teach that class, Mel.
Right.
Anybody that doesn't follow the rules, we're gonna take a ride.
Right. We'll take a ride and come back solo.
And there you have it. That is the answer to your problem.
Right.
Oh, that's great, Mel. Listen, I trust you to teach the class, dear. I do. Now, they might be a few employees light.
Sure.
Right.
By the end of the week, it's Mel and one student.
Didn't we start with 20 and now we only see now there's only 19. What happened?
Somebody disagreed.
Mel took it for a ride. What about the hybrid? Are you guys as corporations going hybrid?
Mine is not. It's been largely work from home. Now they do have a few offices across a couple states, but there's no talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine's either there. Especially here in Texas, we're starting to transition. They're starting to transition people back into the office. And they've spent good money on a stupid app. So before you can enter the building. So yeah, I see my company is pretty much starting to go back to, in office work for people who work in the office.
With no option to choose either or the hybrid situation?
I don't believe so. Yeah, I believe once your team, because they're starting with leadership now. So if you go into the office now, it's mainly like people with like their own individual offices and upper management. But they're going to get to a point as they start to like filter people back into the office per teams.
Okay. Cool. Well, there you have it. That's what's going on, my friends. Now, I'm going to put a disclaimer out here for myself before we get started here. Let me see. I hope I don't close the wrong. Okay. Tonight we're going to talk about a series of videos, and then we're going to have some conversation, but I just wanted to open this up a little bit differently. So and I will have, and I'm going to scroll this number across the bottom. We do have the telephone line connected up for those of you that may want to call in. You are welcome to call in. And what I'm going to ask you to do, because this is our first night trying to do it, but our conversation on last week, oh my God, I had so many conversations after the session was over, particularly from people that had a different perspective, life experience, that said you really wish we had had the call lines open so you could have called in and chimed in on last week's conversation. The line is open and available today. You can call in. That number is 816-688-8485. Again, that number is 816-688-8485. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do, because I don't have a call waiting or lines, multiple lines on this line at the time, I'm going to ask you to call in. If somebody is on the line, I'll let you know when that person has disconnected and the next caller can call in. And that way we can try to hear as many of you guys' thoughts and comments that you want to call in. And we welcome your comments, questions, your addresses about whatever it is that we're talking about. So that number right there, 816-688-8485. And I'll scroll it again a little bit later on, but I just wanted to let you know we did get that per request. Many were like, oh, I just wish I wanted to call in. And I've been telling you all for a long time I have a call in line, but we just hadn't used it yet. So I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared. So we'll try it out tonight and see how it goes. And this will be a good test run. I do know that it works. I did run it. And before we came in tonight, it does work. Now, with that, I want to put in a disclaimer, because tonight now y'all just let me be me. That's what Whitney said. Let me be me. Some of y'all may be a little shocked, stunned, and amazed that this first video, I'm going to even run it, because it is dealing with a situation that a lot of people are heated about and talking about. I'm playing it because it is just absolutely the best in comedy. I laughed almost from beginning to end when I watched it. So now y'all don't judge me harshly. Y'all put me on the altar next time around and I'll get saved. Y'all pray for me. I'm gonna get good and saved. I'm gonna get another dip. But in the meantime, this video is funny. And so for the purpose of funny and humor, y'all just hang with me. This is on Derek Jackson, who, if anybody doesn't know who he is, he has 1 million and upwards followers. He was giving women's advice on how to deal with relationships with men. This again, y'all just pray for me, saints. Just pray for me. Don't send me to hell just yet. Just pray for me, because this video is funny. I'm gonna roll this beautiful bean footage, and then I'm gonna come back to my co-hosts, and we're gonna get their opinion and input. Hold on. Let me hold this up, honey. It's already ready to roll. Let me back it up. Okay, here we go. And roll that beautiful bean footage. And let's see. Are we in? Okay, let me get the screen. There we go. All right. And I'm going to put this full screen, y'all. Here we go.
Melody means I'd rather swallow melting glass than hold my husband's hand while he tells the world he had sex with other women. Hey, she got a point, man. I don't even know how homegirl did it. If Sam Riley was a person. Yeah. Anybody with arms that big, you know they lying about something. So y'all mean to tell me that whole time when Derek Jackson was making videos in his car, he was either on his way to cheat or just got to cheat? Make it make sense, Lord. Yo, this ain't right. I'd cheat too if I had to come home to my wife just like one of the Temptations. Yeah. Hey, y'all leave Miss Jackson alone. She has been through enough. I watched all your YouTube videos. You had me leaving my man when you was doing the same shit. Make it make sense. Poor Adrian. Yo, you out here scamming these women, bro. That is sad. His wife got on live looking just like this. I'll leave Miss Jackson alone. Don't worry, y'all. I'm keeping track. Yo, it's a shame I missed the opportunity on the Gorilla Glue lady. I wasn't touching the Capitol riot memes, though. Derek Jackson. Baby, come record this video with me real quick. His wife. Fresh out the bed, man. Y'all ain't right. Like we were. Like he forced her to get on camera, man. And look at that grip. Oh, we got Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny. Bro, spitting fairy tales to these women. Yeah. Have you or someone you love prematurely ended a relationship due to advice from Derek Jackson? If so, you may be entitled to compensation. Y'all are childish, man. Where do y'all come up with this stuff? I've never seen a woman cheat and a man sit by her holding her hand for moral support. Hold on. I think you're wrong. Didn't Will Smith do that? When Jada was getting entangled in August. Sire, the one called Jackson has been taken down. Future, excellent. Now for Russell. Not Russell Wilson. Please leave him out of this now. Oh. Bruh. You know how big this battle will be. Kevin Samuels is a savage. These are polar opposites, so that's why this is good. Let's see who you really are. Derek, man, I'm sorry. Not really. Derek Jackson in his car warning women about certain men. The piece of proof here has been in front of you all along. What men want? Me. You left out burn somebody's whole house down. Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Bro, y'all gotta chill. Y'all gotta chill. Man. This gotta be the most petty stuff I've seen. Derek Jackson's alleged mistress claims he contacted her after video with his wife. Sorry, have we not learned our lesson? Bro. Come on, man.
Oh shoot.
Tyler Perry in the cut watching all this Derek Jackson drama.
He got a new
Homie
movie.
taking-
Right.
You know his mind is flooded with ideas. If uncomfortable was a person, somebody need a free sentence. Blink twice if you need help.
Blink twice.
Y'all are child.
Oh shoot.
Derek Jackson's wife watching him get into his car to do another video.
Oh shit.
Leave this poor woman alone. Yeah, that's it.
Oh shoot. Okay, so there. I told y'all pray for me later. Pray for. What she said? You a hostage? Blink twice. Okay, so y'all obviously didn't get as tickled behind it as I did because I just thought it was hilarious. Of course, I don't know how much you know over the story either because the story is just absolutely ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So anyway, and these people just keep on going. And then what made it even? They didn't even put this one in. But by the end of the day, it was like he went out and made a phone call and then said the link is in the bottom. Please buy my book. This man is scandalous. I mean, he is scandalous. I'm like, oh my God. And the wife sitting there on the side looking petrified. And now I didn't put any of those up, but I thought this was just so funny. But anyway, they have, hey, Bishop, good to see you. You pray for me, Bishop, because I just rolled some beautiful bean footage that probably really want me to get saved behind. But I'm telling you, I just thought that was hilarious. Now, I see y'all didn't really get as tickled as I did because I mean, I was just almost in tears when I watched that video. But I'm going to let y'all, what was your takeaway on that?
When I first saw the video, I didn't know who he was. I thought the whole thing was a joke, but the video is like his interview, and I didn't see all of it. It's crazy. Like, why was she sitting there with that bonnet on her head? And then the way he held her hand, it was almost like
a death clutch.
Right. Like you're not going anywhere. We're anything. So I had to look him up. I was like, I didn't know who he was, but it was like, what's going on here? And he was out here giving relationship advice.
He has made himself famous and millions from relationship advice. And I mean, that's an understatement. That's really, hello, Mathan. Good to see you. I see Bishop Andrews in there as well. Good to see you, my friends. So tonight I just kind of had to digress. Now, I'm going to act right the rest of the night. But when I saw that, I'm telling you, listen, May, I was crying too, May. I was crying. Do you hear me? And I told the Rebel Inc., I said, my engineer, I said, I know folks gonna be mad at me and some folk gonna be upset, but I mean, this thing had me crying, y'all. It was funny. And Jonna, what meaneth the bonnet on her head?
I don't know. Now, she had a follow-up video, which was even as ridiculous as the first. To me, it was.
Uh-huh.
But you know how I feel about bonnets. They don't belong off of the front porch. They just don't.
Right.
Ever.
It was low self-esteem. I mean, okay, so you're getting ready to have this video with your mate who's telling, like I said, who goes around and tells people in this video as you sit there and try to smile, I just got finished having sex with all these women, and you're sitting there looking like, but then to add insult to it, they got extractions from 45 and
She gave me Melania.
Well, at least
energy.
Melania would have looked good.
Well, that's true. Now she would not have had on that outfit. She would have been dripping on the couch.
Right.
Welcome, Wild Wolf Dyer. I'm so glad you're here. And y'all got me on the day where I'm being naughty because I'm just like, that video, I'm with you, mate. It had me crying. But I just couldn't understand if you're getting ready to go on in front of millions of people and you're already dealing with this particular topic and situation. Why would you put this bonnet on your head?
That I don't get, because I would have been slayed. I would have been.
I'm not going. I'm not going.
If I gotta put my face on national for the world to see, I would have had the best bundles.
Listen, and that's all I'm screaming. Come back with a vengeance.
Right.
I'm just like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? So anyway, but all of those little vignettes put together, I thought they were just hilarious. And that laugh just took me out.
Yeah, he does a lot of videos that have me in tears. His commentary is excellent all the time.
Oh my goodness. Peace and love to you too, Mathan. Peace and love. Listen, I when I saw that, I said, I I might lose a lot of followers tonight. Oh, yes, you, but I can't help myself. I feel honoring, and I felt like running that beautiful bean footage because it was hilarious to me. And so, I saw my engineer. She might have been a little squirmish back there. She might have been squirming a little bit. I don't know, but I thought it was hilarious. Those of you that enjoyed that, I'm glad you enjoyed it. But that was my comedy for the day before we get into something a little more serious. Now, that being said, and the man's still trying to ask people to follow him. Are you aware? He's still saying,
but good question that Mel brought up. What we react to it if it was flipped, if it was a woman in his position?
You know, I'm gonna go back to one of the little vignettes. What woman do you know is gonna sit on the couch and admit to cheating with all these partners, and the man gonna sit there and hold her hand and say nothing? Number one, Tyrone. Now, come on now. Women, now see, you ask
we can't give women a pass.
No. I'm not trying to give you a pass. Most men, if I sat here on this sofa and I just admitted to sleeping with 10, 15 different women and several of them's pregnant, sisters would be dead. They wouldn't be sitting on the sofa having a conversation. They surely wouldn't be sitting there having a conversation, holding a hand in a death grip while he's just sitting there looking. It was, that's not, and that was part of the joke that they did in that vignette. How many women, you tell me, Tyrone, how many women do you know that could sit on the sofa and admit to multiple upon multiple infidelities with their partner sitting there just holding their hand, smiling?
Oprah. A woman of power. But the question is, would we respond to it the same if there was a woman who was able to do it?
You threw me off the train on that one because I didn't.
Yeah, we can't slide past Oprah. What you have to give some.
No, I'm just saying a woman of power. Trust me, Oprah could sit there with Stedman and he hold her hand. I just feel it. I mean,
maybe even Stedman would get a knife.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
He'd be like, you know that.
I doubt it.
Get a rope. I'm just saying. I don't care how. And sometimes the meekest and mildest men, when it comes to situations like that, they will go all the way ballistic.
Correct.
Even the meekest and mildest. Now, I'm going to say, even from this standpoint, because I can pull some statistics in here because, hey, Sunshine Gypsy, thank you for coming in. I can say, because I literally, I managed the Department of Domestic Relations Dispute Resolution for the city. And I can tell you statistically, because that was part of my job in management, was to sit down and tally what kind of violence we had and the disputes and all of that. And I can tell you that in whether it was male, female, or same sex men who had the scenario where something went down a little shady and rocky in the relationship, they tended to be very volatile and volcanic in their reaction. And they would usually end up in my office with severe or some level of abuse or physical retaliation. So, I mean, I can tell you just from statistics of having worked literally in that department and done those tallies, those numbers are high. That testosterone is like, you're not going to cheat on me and come home and think everything's okay. So now that's a statistic I can stand on because I saw it with my own two eyes. That was my office. And the brothers just are not, they're not feeling the cheat on me and then come home and we gonna just move on like nothing ever happened. It's just not in the tendency in most instances.
Okay.
So yeah. But at the end of the day, and I'm laughing because it's just funny. Those little vignettes were, to me, they were just funny.
They were.
Yeah. Now, moving on, I want to deal with this idea. I know what else I was going to show, but we'll get to it. Let's deal with this first. Y'all know we had a little problem with one of the several of the states right now that are trying to enact and have enacted Jim Crow laws. So here we have the representative that's knocking on the door at the state of Georgia while Kemp is signing into law a voter suppression bill. And we're going to get a quick look at this, and you all tell me what you feel about this here. All right. Let me see. We'll pull this in. I'm gonna go this way. And some of you have probably already seen this video, but I just wanted to be able to replay it on today. So here we go.
Why does she have to step back?
The governor is signing a bill that affects all Georgians. Why is he doing it in private? And why is he trying to keep elected officials who are representing us out of the process?
Exactly.
I know you don't have any control over anything other than suppressing people's right to vote and using your guns and your abilities to talk.
Yeah, you said you give her one more time, like you're gonna do something. Are you serious?
No, you are not. Represent.
No. She's not under arrest. What is
For what? Under arrest for what? For trying to see something that our governor is doing? Our governor is signing a bill that affects all Georgians, and you're going to arrest an elected representative. Why does the governor have more power than a representative? Why are you arresting her?
That's what I'm asking.
Stop arresting her.
Why are you arresting
Why?
her? Why are you arresting her?
Cite the violation. Cite the code. What is she in violation of? I want you to cite the code. Cite the code. Cite it. What are you? Cite the code. Cite the code. Cite the code. Why are you arresting her? Under what? Under what? Under what law are you arresting her? Why are you arresting her? Why are you arresting her? Tell us now. Why are you arresting her? Cite it. Give me a reason why you are arresting her.
Your
Oh, wow.
takeaways. Your takeaways.
So
That's
what is
ridiculous.
the law that the governor is signing into place?
So
I was trying to look it up, but my phone was doing something crazy.
no worries. So ultimately, they are decreasing. It's a number of things. They're decreasing the number of boxes where people can drop off ballots. It also decreases, it basically identifies as well that you must have ID and this and that and the other at the time of registration. Also understanding that there's some people that for various reasons do not have access to that. Also, you deal with the idea that this insane part that they threw in, that you could not give water or food to anyone standing in line that was trying to vote. It is a crime now to do so because the lines, particularly in the urban areas, are so long that the people
Yeah.
are literally standing in line for hours at a time. And they had people out there giving them food and drink while they were standing in line waiting to try to vote. And yes, the governor we're trying to get rid of absentee voting and to limit and restrict voting by mail. So at the end of the day, all day long, it's voter suppression.
That's 100%. And then for it to be done behind closed doors, like literally, she's an elected official who's been elected into office. Yeah, that's crazy. But another thing that stands out for me is like the governor really has more power over a state than the president does. Because I look at Texas, where we opened up everything. The president was against it, but it's like the governor's law overrules the president's ideas.
Well, the governor does, it's state by state. You know, so the governor is the person that has the authority and power over the state. The governor, between whether you're talking about the state's rights or federal rights. And so this continues to be from time to time a discussion that gets crosswise in various topics, say in the whole idea of slavery. People from southern states wanted states' rights to supersede federal rights or rules and regulations because they want slaves. So, you know, you have those places where you get crosswise. And so if you've been following, really, Biden is basically saying these are Jim Crow laws. And we need to address the fact that these are Jim Crow laws. And so they have HR 1, which is in process right now, which will give voter, and we need it to pass. I wanted to bring this in today because we need it to pass so that we don't have to deal state by state by state. Because isn't it interesting? One of my friends said there was nothing wrong. Sunshine, you talking, Sunshine Gypsy, all of this. Same with Brown versus Board of Education. So she said there was nothing and no complaint about Georgia laws until Georgia turned blue. Then all of a sudden it's a problem and they got to go back and rewrite all of this. And this is what you saw in many of the states where either it went blue and went against the red, or those that just feel like they're, and I'm gonna call a spade, trying to cover white supremacy so that they can keep the people they want in power and have the ability. And I believe also that it also takes away power from the Secretary of State, who in this election was Rinsenberger, or however he pronounces his name, who basically Trump kept calling him and asking him to find votes in Georgia. He just needed a few more votes in Georgia. Illegal. He kept calling the man, and when the man, even after having the counts redone manually by hand, at the end of the day, they also have something in Georgia that addresses that the Secretary of State can basically be thrown to the curb, to the wayside, and they can still override what the Secretary of State is saying. The Secretary of State was just basically doing his job in saying the count is accurate and this man has won, and we're not going to find you votes because there are no votes to find. This is what the people voted. So all of this is being enacted to try and stop and reverse any potential in the future. And then now let's throw in with that DeJoy, who's over the Postal Service, who is continuing to dismantle the Postal Service and said, now who says this about delivery service? We're working to slow down delivery of the mail. Now, why do you want to slow down delivery of the mail? And they're also taking out machines in places where you can drop off and all of that. All of this is projected voter suppression and oppression against people of color, because they're the ones that are going to be most impacted. And even if you say, well, drive across town and go and vote, what's the big deal? I don't have a car and there's no transportation to get there. Then they also changed the days and the hours that are available to vote. So, I mean, it's just a head-on attack trying to suppress brown and black bodies from voting.
Yeah. Because the more hurdles we have to run into, the more likely we are to go through with it. If I got to drive across town, I mean, those are just things being put in place to stop us from executing our right to vote.
Yes. She did get 2 felony counts. One count was for felony trespass, which is not even what the people at the insurrection attempt in the Capitol, they didn't even get that. She got felony charges of felony trespass. Now, how can she trespass when she's an elected official? You could maybe even go there if you're going to argue and say Joe Blow citizen had no right to be there. This woman is a state representative. She's an elected official. Knocking politely on the door. Now, I saw what Mel said a little bit earlier, that you felt like the lady with the camera was an agitator. I think in these days and times, and I hear your position, Mel. I think in these days and times, Black people have pretty much determined, don't go nowhere without it. What's that? Don't leave home without it. Y'all remember that commercial back in the day?
Mhm.
Don't leave home without it. You don't go anywhere without somebody getting a camera that can be a record to identify exactly what happened. Because I'm sure had the cameras not been rolling, we would have heard she was outside the door acting unseemly, untoward, trying to tear the place down, hollering and kicking and screaming. Ain't no telling what we would have heard this woman did. We see her politely knocking on the door. Now, put that in juxtaposition to insurrectionists who were hollering, screaming,
Climbing walls.
Killing people,
shooting them, blowing them down with gorilla bear spray, cussing them out, putting their hands on them. This is what we had. And these people did what they did, got in their cars after hours of creating and wreaking havoc, went home, flew home to their several places of abode, and many of them still have not been touched. And this woman walks away with 2 felony charges for what you just witnessed on that camera.
to 2 separate justice systems, one for them and one for us.
And it leads you to believe like something sketchy was going on. The fact that it's escalated to this point, because if it was something that they were signing into law, something that was for the people, why would there be a closed door session?
And Heather Cox Richardson, you can go to my page and look, and she brings up so much more rich history to it, because she even identifies the picture that he's sitting in front of, and the ramifications and the flashback it has to slavery and Confederacy and all of that. And here he sits with this backdrop of the picture in the background, and then these men standing along, all white, standing along with him, picking and grinning while he's signing this into law to suppress brown and Black voters. And so at the end of the day, you on your way to Georgia?
Mel, she got it. Trust me, she got it. She gonna get out.
Oh, so at the end of the day, we're really, and this is a beautiful time to be in my opinion. Some people are really, really distressed about it. I feel like it's a beautiful time because racism has been brought to the forefront, and we are going to insist, because I don't know about you, I'm not going back to Jim Crow. I'm not. They can sign whatever laws they want to. They can do whatever they want to. It doesn't matter. I'm not going back to the days of Jim Crow, which is exactly what these states are legislating from state to state to state to state. And Missouri is hot on the tail. You know, I got issues with Missouri. So at the end of the day, we have to stand up and keeping their feet to the fire to look at, honey, Black power all over the place, Sunshine Gypsy. So we've got to keep the fire hot and their feet to the fire. Sheila said she's on that midnight train to Georgia. Not those two together. Those
right.
So at the end of the day, you know, here we see once more and again where brown and Black bodies are being challenged and threatened, if you will, to take us so many steps back into the dark ages. Now, y'all tell me how y'all feel about that for real, because I'm just like, my spirit is disturbed. And I just feel like some folks, I know we're sheltering at home, but some folks are like, and so what? And I'm like, do you not realize that your liberty, and this isn't, let me clarify this. This isn't Sidney Powell and her group talking about our liberties are jeopardized and they're trying to, this is the real McCoy. This ain't no made up stuff. Our liberties are genuinely on the line, and we are about to be turned backwards, especially if we don't pass HR 1. What's your feeling on that, Jonna?
I agree 100%. When I first heard what was going, and I figured it would be something. The election night or whenever they, projected that Georgia turned blue, I thought, yay. And then I said, something, because that is not going to fly. But I cannot believe that anybody in their right mind will go along with this. I mean, no water. From what I understand, some of the people in Georgia stood in line for up to 8 hours.
Yeah, 8 and 9 hours.
8 and 9, and you can't have water. What is the term they use? Line warming? Is that what they call it? Where you give them food and water in the line?
Mm-hmm.
What difference does that make? Ridiculous. And like your friend said, these practices have been just fine for decades,
Mm-hmm.
as long as Georgia was red. And now, all of a sudden, everything. I call I know it's a bunch of clergy watching. I call BULLSHIT on this. I'm sorry, Reverends, but that's what I'm gonna have to go ahead. At least I spelled it. I would have said it another night.
Tyrone?
I agree with what you said earlier. Like, there's no greater time than now for us to, as a people, to really hold people to the fire, because we're able to see. We had 4 years of that guy, and we saw what that created, where white supremacy and the laws and people trying to do things to hold us as a people down. And now, because Georgia has turned blue, we're really starting to see that veil come off of, the people that many of us probably thought had our back and supported us and, put together laws to benefit us. We're now starting to see, what that ugly side is looking like.
Yeah.
So now they're starting to create laws that are going to impact us in the long run. And like you said, the sad part about it is there's a big portion of us who are just like, oh, well, it is not going to impact me. But trust me, if it starts in Georgia, it's coming to Texas, and it's coming to Missouri and all these other states where people of power will be able to put together laws that will, at the end of the day, impact us wholly. Because at the end of the day, they're not here for us.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see that. So this is our time now to really hold people to the fire. President Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and even your local people. Start there. We have to hold these people to the fire and continue to voice our opinion. We can't get comfortable because we feel like we won an election.
Yeah.
And we got to keep this thing going, because, like I said, we're starting to see their true colors.
True colors. I see your true colors shining through. We could all start seeing. And I'm gonna tell you what, speaking of Vice President Harris, one of the articles I read, do you all realize that they still don't have a residence?
Oh, they weren't able to move into that house?
Not been able to move into their residence. They are still in visitors' quarters.
Why is that?
They claim they are trying in the most hurried way possible to get it ready. She is an avid cook, and there's some changes going on to the kitchen. However, even the fact that it rained and the article ran, and you could see the look on Sister's face, she ain't happy. And I don't know any place else in any other time it took this long for somebody to be able to move into the vice presidential quarters.
Mm-hmm. It's not like they didn't know she was coming. What's going on here?
One would think those renovations would have been done once we certified the election. I need a new stove and a big island and a big fridge. Let's make it happen.
You think? Any racism much?
It's a little bit. And the fact, and I will say, and the fact I feel because she's a woman of power now.
So what we're seeing is the patriarchy and the system that is really, really dragging their feet, because let's say I told you now she's a female. Mm-hmm. They don't want her. Asian descent. who's also under, and I believe this is not just the racist name for COVID-19 that 45 kept slinging out there, but I also think there's some backlash coming against their community because this is where she's coming from and they're angry there, as well as Black. It's almost like they would love to say, from the racist premise, 3 strikes and ma'am, you are out. So at the end of the day, she just really holds everything that they don't want to see happen in a white, racist, patriarchal system. Then she really is going to have all kinds of blowback and backlash. And I think somebody needs to be agitated, just like they said in the article that I read. Why has she and her husband not been housed? And somebody needs to be crying foul.
Yeah. Because one would think at this point that would be taken care of a long time ago.
You think?
Yeah.
Johnny, you're shaking your head. What are you thinking?
It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. I mean, get the house together. This is basic stuff. Get it together. Jeez Louise. I mean, I don't mean to minimize it, but this is just basics, and you can't even get housing.
Can't even
with
get
the job, with the job that's supposed to come with the job that you applied for and got.
Yeah. Now, and I'll say this too. Did you all know that she was still not housed? I think most Americans are assuming that they've already gotten settled in. They're cool and everything's going fine. And so the majority of the people do not know that they are still not housed, that they're still basically, you might as well say these 2 individuals, while as she's serving her country as the vice president, the woman is homeless. Where do they do that at?
That's ridiculous.
And to our listening audience, if you didn't know, now you know. They are not housed. And so I think that we really need to pull some coattails and say, you did know because of the report of the dangerous lurker. I'm glad that you did know, Sunshine. I like you, Sunshine Gypsy, because you seem like you are aware. And that is the thing that I feel like is the greatest enemy to the Black and brown community. All of this stuff is going on and we're not aware. She is staying in the Blair house for now. That used to be for guests. Exactly, Teresa. But at the end of the day, it's a guest house. It's not her house. And she's the vice president of the United States. She and her husband should be able to live in their house. I don't care about Blair House and you're not a guest. And what kind of message are you trying to send to her? Like, you can't even get a place to stay of your own. You're just a guest. You don't really belong here. You're just a guest. And we're going to treat you as some kind of outsider. And so at the end of the day, come on, man, we got to, I mean, come on, for us to just be comfortable with all of this kind of baloney and malarkey going on in our country. And this is our vice president. So I'm like, listen, stop it.
Well, I would also say, I don't think people, because I didn't know about it until the call. And it is something, because when you look at the bigger side of things, the broader side of things, it is a message of not acceptance and this, that, and the other. But I think a lot of people at this point in time really aren't focused on if she has a place to live. So it's probably something, if we did hear about it, it just blew over us because we're still dealing with COVID. We're still dealing with trying to, survive and pay our bills and our kids in school and this, that, and the other. And I know for me, I probably would have saw the article and be like, oh, her house isn't ready. Okay. But there's a bigger message to it.
To me, it is.
Yes.
Yes. And I know some people, there are those people that'll blow something up. Okay, but you don't do this with other people.
Right.
That's my point. You don't do this with other people. And yes, I saw you, Gypsy. She's across the street. That's all fine and good. It's not her permanent place of dwelling as she is the vice president of the United States, in my opinion. So that it's like everybody else is settled and fine and moving on. And I'm still trying to, because I don't know about you. And I absolutely hate the lurker went to her home with a gun. I listen. We understand that this woman is high threat priority. That's going to be for the same reasons that I just said. She's a female with massive power in a country that is steeped in patriarchy. She's Asian American descent and she's African American descent. She's almost everything rolled up in one they don't want to see. She's almost everything rolled up in one. How bad could it get? It just can't get any worse than this. You understand what I'm saying? And so I feel like the behaviors and somebody that's threatening her. Okay, we understand there's going to be that potential. Give the woman the protection that she needs. That needs to be wherever she's at. Give her husband the protection that she needs. The same with Joe and his wife. And at the end of the day, additionally, put this woman in a permanent place that is secure so she can go ahead and establish herself and do her job and know that I'm going home to my home. So so at the end of the day, no global news about her safety. And you were surprised. Listen, as a whole, it gets what did they say? Curiouser and curiouser. It's almost like we've been at the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, and it gets curiouser and curiouser, like Alice in Wonderland. So, Johnny, you giving it some side eye? What's on your?
Well, you know, just like you said, it's just stranger and stranger. The more it goes, the more it plays out.
Yeah,
and we already knew, you know, most of I'm not gonna say most, half at least, were not excited about this new administration. So
exactly. I feel like that. Now, y'all can say what you want to say. I don't think Biden was the threat. I think that's why the majority of the people that voted Republican, they knew this man was crazy. They knew the people in his administration was crazy, but they were willing to take crazy over the potential that a Black Asian woman could potentially be the president of the United States. Because what did we keep hearing over and over again? He's senile and he's old. We don't know how long he's going to live. The issue wasn't so much Joe, because Joe ain't the slowest and the oldest. So at the end of the day, yes, he probably is the oldest, but I'm saying from the standpoint of old white men in power that may not have cognitive clarity. Because listen, we got videos of Ronald Reagan when Nancy's telling the man what to say, because the man, I'm talking about while he was president. I'm not talking about afterward. They have clips of Ronald Reagan. Now, Johnny, you laughing, but I'm telling the truth.
Oh, I believe you 100%.
There are clips of Nancy Reagan when Ronald Reagan is being asked questions in the public. She's whispering and telling him what to say, and he repeats word for word what Nancy said because his brain wasn't working. Now, we didn't see nobody trying to move him out of power. That's it. I'm telling what God loves, and that's the truth. There are videos of Nancy Reagan feeding to Ronald Reagan while he was in his presidency the words to say because he could not think. Tyrone, what's that look?
I'm just listening. You know, I support our women.
Thank you for supporting them. I'm gonna get a drink on that.
I support our women.
But the issue that we kept hearing was, and I had a dear friend, and what did my dear friend say to me? And she said, well, it's not a matter. His cognitive is so poor that well, the concern is really that we don't want a black woman that's going to potentially be running this country. That was the issue. And so for that reason, there's a justification in my mind for voting for this wicked, evil, degrading, and debilitating man. There's reason to vote him back in office because you want to talk about Joe and his cognitive skills, who at least the man was. He was honest in politics, you know, is there such thing? But he was at least a sincere and genuine man trying to move the country forward. But your issue is if his cognitive skills are poor or slow, then this opens the door for an Asian black woman to be in charge. And we don't want that. Now I'll let y'all talk.
Well, we have to agree that Joe's cognitive skills are not the best. So I can understand a person being concerned, am I going to vote for somebody who may not? Because I will say, I don't think Joe's going to, if he make 4 years, he made 4 years. Joe's cognitive skills are not the best. And he's up there.
And who told you that?
Just from my observation of him. Just from me listening to him in debates, sometimes it was like, oh, Joe, like, what are you talking about? Now, Joe, I feel Joe was voted in.
Are you saying he was off point or he was slow answering?
A little bit of both.
Now, this is what I'll say about that, because all of them talk off point. That's what they do in debates.
Correct.
If you don't want to answer the question. Joe is admittedly and well known to have a stuttering issue since childhood.
Not talking about stuttering. Joe at times showed his age. And there were times in debates where it was a little concern. Do you see Joe running for another term?
If he wants to, he can.
Okay. Just from my opinion, my point of view, I felt there were times where Joe showed that he was slowing down a little bit.
So are you about to be guilty of ageism?
Not being guilty of ageism, but it's reality.
Jonna, that face.
I can't say that.
If y'all want to sit here and like, oh, we're not going to be honest. Oh, we're not going to be honest.
I said Jonna, and Jonna was talking, and you talked right over top of her.
I do apologize.
Go ahead and finish your sentence.
I can't say, Lord help us all, that I've seen any evidence that his cognitive skills were off. I can't say that I've seen that. I've seen where where he's preparing to speak, and someone who may have had a speech impediment at one time may have to do that. But I have not seen anything that would say his cognitive skills are off. I just have not. I wouldn't listen to him speak and say, his cognitive skills are, that's not come across to me.
Okay, and now, thank you for that. Go ahead, Tyrone.
I voiced my thought. I feel that there were moments during the debate where Joe seemed a little off. And that was one of my biggest things where I think it was great for him to pick a running mate like Kamala, because Joe is getting older, not ageism. And people can do what they want to do as long as they can do it. But there were moments to me during the debate that I felt Joe was a little off. I know he suffers with a stuttering issue and all that. But there were moments for me. Y'all don't have to like it. There were moments for me where I felt Joe at times was starting to show his age.
Okay. And it's not that I dislike it. I disagree with it, but it's not that I dislike it. Everybody's entitled. I think, as Sheila said, much of what I saw with him was stuttering gaffes and people that work with their stuttering. And that's one of the things that they really work through. And I think there comes an ability to get and understanding what stutterers work through in their ability to talk, and what looks like it may be some diminished cognitive skills is really nothing more than their search for trying to talk with and deal with their stutter and continue to speak forth, take a breath, exactly, Sunshine Gypsy, because it's technique. So, and I do know some stutterers, and I do know that sometimes it does feel and appear to some people that they're unclear when it has really nothing to do with their clarity. It's really about the impediment of the stuttering that they're dealing with. And so they learn means by which techniques, as Sunshine Gypsy said, to be able to continue with their thought. Those with speech impediments slow their speech down. Exactly. And they're told to slow their speech down. So those are much of the things that I saw. I'm going to be in agreement with those that are speaking in the chat. We're all tools and techniques that are used for stutterers to be able to communicate their thought without getting lost, but it has nothing to do with their capacity. Senators have sat in office at 80, 90, and Strom Thurmond was nearly 100, and that's exactly correct. And the reality of that as well. Now, I'm for younger blood, not because of ageism. I'm for younger blood so that we can get some change of ideas and change of. But again, when you start talking to some of those 80, 90, and 100-year-old people, they had some of the sharpest brains in there, and they knew government better than anybody. So this is part of the trade-off we're going to have with bringing younger people in, because younger people are coming in. That's true enough. But unless somebody's going to take them under their wing and mentor them, we're about to have a younger people that have no knowledge of government. So we're going to be led by folks that are novices. And so when you start talking about my life depends on it, and how I want to put my life in your hands, because you think Joe may be too old, would you rather have Joe with knowledge or a novice that doesn't know what they're doing?
But who says a younger person was a novice and who doesn't know what they're doing?
No, I didn't say that the younger. I said I'm saying between the two, because okay, now see, because like some of the stuff I'm talking about on here, I have to try to be slick and smooth with. But this is information that I would say for people of your age. What I'm talking about today, you all should know this. What I'm talking about, this is stuff that's been in the news for the whole entire week. And I'm talking about it on the show, and we still don't know it today, but it's been going on for a whole solid week. So this is what I'm saying. So we have young people that many times are in, we have, well, and I'm looking at Main Man. We've got another generation of young Trump. Exactly. That's what we see in Holly. That's what we see in a lot of those youngsters that are coming out. They've been trained under that racist mindset. They've been trained by him. But let's take this. Trump was a novice. Trump knew absolutely nothing about politics. Trump knew absolutely nothing about government. Trump knew about reality shows and how to get ratings. Trump knew that. And that's exactly what he came in. He ran the government like he was having a reality show. And look what happened to the government because he was a novice. When you take people that know absolutely, positively nothing about government, they know nothing about history, they know nothing about current events, and you start putting them in key and critical positions, Main Man, you're going to shipwreck because they have no clue what they're doing. And so it is that element of how long have you been studying? How long have you been going about trying to get into information? So yeah, we got another young generation of Trump that's coming, and they're going to pick up that racist rhetoric, but they still don't know how to run the government right now today. And I put this on my page. The Missouri legislators, even though we voted in August to increase Medicare We voted as a state, I'm sorry, Medicaid. We voted as the state of Missouri to increase Medicaid. These people have voted it down. So I'm talking about Josh Hawley and all these other youngsters. And the very first thing that the Star identifies, it's against the law. It's against the law. They don't care and they don't know because they're stupid. They're stupid. They don't know because they don't have any education in government. They don't have any education in what the policies are. They just got elected because somebody knew their name. They looked cute. They went out, combed their hair, and got people to vote on them just like it was some kind of personality contest. But when you sit their hips in that chair, they know nothing. They're stupid. So at the end of the day, we're going to suffer. Well, no, because actually it's all going through the court system now, which is nothing but miring it up. When they are saying millions of dollars, we'd rather turn away millions of dollars just to not do what you all voted for us to do. And then we're going to make the state pay for going to court to make you do what's the legal thing to do. And then still at the end of the day, the people that are suffering are the people. Do you even think they know that? I'm sure they do to some degree, but they don't care and they're stupid. Go ahead, Jonna.
That was fantastic. I enjoyed every word of it. I agree. I think the state that we're in now, I mean, we are slowly trying to climb out of it, sort of, is the result of such. We had 4 years of somebody who knew nothing. And here we are. You know, last year was the pits, and it did not have to be like that. Had somebody had some working knowledge of anything, to be honest.
Any knowledge.
Yeah.
Let's look at this too. And you said something solidly when they won't, or being a novice is dangerous when they don't have an ear to hear. I think that's BTD mom. So this is the thing. Let's say they don't know. You don't know, but look at this. President Obama, let's just take the pandemic, left him a complete package, signed, sealed, and delivered. All they had to do was follow it. Good evening, Mystic Donkey. All they had to do was follow it. He wouldn't do that. So you have to deal with people. And yes, Sunshine Gypsy, we are the ones that end up doing the cleanup. So at the end of the day, it's like we put y'all in office, y'all make a mess of things, and then we got to come back and waste time fixing up what you messed up.
Like we're doing now. That's correct.
Just like we're doing now. So yes, Sheila, the government cannot be run as a for-profit business or a reality show. One has to know how to administer government in order to help the people. And so when we look at this whole scenario, we really have to go back and say, again, whether it's the issue of Missouri that voted in to expand our Medicaid, and we got these ignorant people who are literally breaking the law to not do it and to lose millions of dollars to the people that they would rather see the people suffer than do the right thing. Now, you know, that's sad. That's sad. And somebody is approving of this.
Yeah.
And so this is why I say, even to the extent we need everybody to be aware, we need everybody to be cognizant of what's going on, because what we don't know is killing us.
Yeah, there you go.
And so when we
Absolutely.
see situations like the state representative who is arrested, and the police officer said she stepped on his foot 3 times, and so she's got assault charges to the police officer for stepping on his foot, which she probably got when he was handcuffing her and taking her out, and she accidentally stepped on his foot. Y'all ain't ready for me. I'm just saying. Now, I'm going to show just a little bit more of another video because, and then we're going to wrap it up. Where am I at? I'm probably, my engineer's going to be like, wrap it up. Okay. So, actually, do I want to do this because I'm already almost on my time for where I need to be wound up. Anybody that wants to call in, the number is 816-688-8485, 816-688-8485. I'm not going to show this video because I'm really out of time. But I want to address the content of it. And so they're talking about Meghan and Harry and the backlash that this has created for the United for Great Britain. So at the end of the day, they're trying to do a PR and they're saying, I wish I had time to show the video. I just don't. They're showing, and let's see, I might be able to put it down in the link where you all can go out and look at it if you want to see. The Young Turks, they do an excellent job of keeping up to date and up to current information. What they're doing, and I'm gonna say this real quickly and I'm gonna jump out, because racism needs to be addressed globally. Do y'all agree with that?
Yes, 100%.
So what they're showing is that colonialism, colonizing people all across the world is wrong, and it breeds a racist mindset. So they have challenged the Queen. And so to combat that, and I'm gonna put this link down so you all can go see it for yourself because it's just flabbergasting. So you've got the Brits that are now trying to argue on behalf of the Queen that she's not racist because most of her loyal subjects are black.
That's like saying I'm not racist because I have a black friend.
And so now they're doing PR stunts. You got to see this video. I'm gonna put the link down in the chat. So at the end of the day, so then you got William and his wife. They're coming out and they have a beautiful picture of the two of them. And then this black lady that just happens to be in the, did you see it already, Jonna? The black lady happens to be standing in her African print.
Yes, that's what killed me. I was like, that's a little much, a little overkill.
And then the next cutaway is as they're going to visit their loyal subjects, you have 6 black men carrying William as he sits in his royal chair. And behind him comes 6 more black men as they carry his wife in her royal chair on their shoulders, but they're showing how they're not racist.
You're so racist, you don't even realize what racism looks like.
Right.
My gosh.
Your racism has been your reality.
Mm-hmm.
I put the link in the chat for you guys. King Coogee, there's my king. There's my king. Come on, give me a shout out for King Coogee. That's my buddy. He takes good care of us, and I love him to pieces. So anybody that I put the link down in the chat because I just don't have time to address it because I'm out of time. But at the end of the day, can you believe that this is their response to the monarchy being racist?
And the crazy part about it is that so there was the interview with Meghan and Harry, which exposed racism amongst the royals.
Right.
And their way to combat that is to show that we're racist. Their reality. Their what to them is, I got a black friend.
Listen,
no, you're racist.
My maid is black.
Right.
My loyal maid is black.
You're racist.
Then I gotta keep going. They're doing that. Y'all get that clip. Y'all get that. I couldn't show it tonight because I done run my mouth too much. But get that clip and look at it, because then they're doing an interview with a Brit on Fox News. Now, y'all already know Fox News. And the Fox News is basically trying to insist that their hierarchy and their racism is okay, when in so doing, you're totally ignoring the idea that the reason the United States of America went to battle with England was because we refused to be colonized. It's called the American Revolution. So how in a country that was opposed to being colonized and they fought for their freedom, and then you're going to turn around and tell the same country that you fought to be free that their monarchy and their system is correct. Now I'm gonna let y'all talk.
Old folks used to say your slip is showing. There's
a showing. There's a showing.
I see hotel. I see your whole. I see the pinkest part.
bare behind.
I see the pinkest part. How in the world? How exposed, Sunshine Gypsy, just completely exposed. And so at the end of the day, I don't care, King Coogee, I hear you saying it's their way. And I know you're not disagreeing with me. You're just stating a fact. But the reality is, I'm going to go back to what I've been saying, even in all of our broadcasts. And this is what I'm going to put to you two as a question. Mm-hmm. I keep saying we're not free until we're all free. So the same way we're talking about we need to be free here in the United States of America, I think we also need to be having a conversation for these colonized countries that are under oppression, because those systems are just as racist, and we're not free until we're all free. That's what I believe.
And I totally agree. I've been watching a series on YouTube called Real Stories. And they talk about just different stories and different cultures and things of that nature. But a story that, and it's funny, I was talking to Kendall, and it came on the radio and this, that, and the other, where like in West Africa, people who are albinos, I mean, I said that right.
No, it's cool.
Are albinos. Okay. They're hunted. Like for some odd reason to this day and time, people feel in West Africa that they're hunted and killed for their limbs, their teeth, their body parts, because for some odd reason they feel that like some type of magical, spiritual, ritual medicine or something in their limbs. And it's crazy. I mean, you watch different things and you're like, we really focus on, we want our people here to be free, but there's people in so many different countries that are struggling to just open their eyes the next day.
Yeah. And I think that what I'm advocating is that we've got to say, if it's wrong, it's wrong, and it's wrong for everybody. We can't just draw a line and say, okay, now we've been liberated and they over there doing, they trying to live the best way they can. That's on them. I think that we all globally need to stand up for one another, and any oppression and racism that's out there, I don't care. And King Coogee brings up a very good point. They don't think it's a racism issue because it's been their way of life for so long, not forever, because they weren't always in the power and control. But they went out. I mean, you've seen whether it was Spain, whether it was Italy, whether it was England, you've seen all of these colonizing countries go out, Germany. And, then we want to come back with, that's acts of aggression against the people and it's crimes against humanity. And, I'm telling the United States, y'all be quiet till you straighten up your own crimes of humanity, because we still got all kind of crimes going over here while you trying to judge somebody else. But at the end of the day, I feel like we all need to speak up for everybody, because why does Elizabeth and her immediate family have rulership over 2/3 of the whole world? Because they've colonized it all and exploited all of their resources, exploited the people for slavery and everything else. And you think it's okay? But
we also own a part of, we have to speak up to it as well, because There's a portion of us that make them think it's okay.
You say what?
So
Say one more time.
I said we have to get to a point where we're speaking up against things as well. When we're being mistreated, regardless of your race and who you are, we have to speak up as well, because there's a portion of it where we've given them the okay to continue the way that they've lived all their lives.
We ain't just gave them the permission. They got guns, they got ammunition, they got all kind of stuff. They had the whoops, they had the money, they had everything. So when you are an oppressed people, because I'm gonna stand against that from the standpoint of, I'm not gonna victimize the victims by saying you should have stood up and said something. So these days and times are different. They are in a lot of ways where we have more, I'm gonna tell the truth. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody heard me talking and all of a sudden they want to come and do something to me because I'm very vocal. I'm going to continue to be vocal. But at the end of the day, I also understand that my vocalizations may have some ramifications to what I'm saying. I don't care, because I'm that girl. But everybody doesn't have that kind of whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to put a name to it. But at the end of the day, when you are standing against an oppressor and that oppressor is able to wield certain things against you, nobody has me at their mercy. So I can say what I want to say. Other people, and I'm not like some of you all. Jana's got a husband and 3 kids. There's going to be certain things that she's going to potentially do, say, speak, or act that would be different from the way that I would speak, think, or act. Not because we don't think the same way, but she's got other people to think about. She's got an employer. So you got an employer. All of these different things come into play as to what reins us in from saying what we want to say or not. But at the end of the day, victims are victims and the oppressors are the oppressors. And I'm not going to blame the victim for not overpowering the oppressor. That's just me. Jana, what are you thinking?
I agree. I mean, you just can't do it, because the skills are so unbalanced with that, and it's just you just can't do that. You can't make any victim in any situation responsible for what happened to them. That's a whole different a totally, it's another offense to them. To me it is.
And again, Tyrone, not to minimize what you're saying, I just that's my opinion. I think we have to be very cautious how we walk the chalk on that. I will say this, and I'm going to kind of tie last week in with this week from that perspective, because I did get calls. I'm going to say this. I did get calls and awareness from victims, people that have been victims, who felt like they, in our conversation last week, was leaving them exposed to being victimized again. So I think those are some good conversations for us to have as a community, because I want us to always be able to have an understanding and a compassion for those that are living the experience or have lived the experience, and always be able to allow them the ability to speak their truth without coming back to be victimized. And so even for Black people, Asian people, Hispanic people, those of us that have been victimized by racism, I'm going to say the same thing. When somebody else is wielding power over you, sometimes as the victim, you got to regroup. You can't just always come back with a clapback or whatever you'd like to come back with, because it's just not always possible. But I'm not going to turn around and then say you were weak or you were less than because you didn't respond appropriately. That's real stuff. It's close up. It's wrap up time. And so I'm going to, nobody called in. Now, see, last week they were like, you should have had to call in line. I think I ran the call in line one other time. We didn't get any calls. And so today I said, I'm going to run the call in line, and we didn't get any calls, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and take a wrap up. I want to thank everybody that has joined us on today. And I hope that you enjoyed the conversation and that you were, appreciate Sunshine Gypsy. I really appreciate you being a part of the conversation as well as everybody else that's in here. I get in trouble calling them one by one and name by name, but I appreciate all you guys that came in and actually joined us in this conversation. With that, I'm going to ask, we'll start with Tyrone and have your wrap up comments, and we'll close out with Jonna, and we're out.
Well, I would say live your best life, be true to yourself, believe what you feel is best for you. Everyone is not supposed to agree, but that's what a good conversation is about. We can bounce ideas off of each other. So live the life that you feel is best for you and take it from there.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Tyrone. I love you, babe. Jonna.
I know this week has been tough for a lot of us with everything in the news. I will say, like Tyrone mentioned earlier, we can't back down just because we feel like we've won an election. Apparently, because there's still going to be a lot of fighting to hold on to stuff that is dead, as we heard earlier today. We can't continue. People are still going to be reaching and trying to hold on to that last little bit of supremacy that's left. And they're not going to let it go without a fight, but we have to continue fighting. We have to continue fighting, because what we've seen this week goes to show that, listen, this thing is not over. It is not even close to being over. So we have to hunker down, keep the same energy, stay in the ring, because people are coming for us, but we got to be ready. And like Rhonda's been saying all this time, we have to get into this at a local level, because the president didn't necessarily have anything to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to have a voice and let it be heard all across the board every single time.
Yes.
And my people in Georgia, I pray that they listen. If we got to stand out here with no water, we just have to stand out here with no water, and we can't vote on the weekends. We've done it before. We can do it again.
Yes. Yes. And by the way, Stacey Abrams' organization has filed a lawsuit to sue them.
Oh,
excellent.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. Stacey ain't no joke. She
is not. I love her.
She's the real deal. I'm loving every ounce of her. I love her. I love her from the crown of her head to the soles of her feet, because sister is not playing. So at the end of the day, I'm happy to hear that, and we're going to see what kind of results come out. And that's how you listen. That level of fighting fire with fire, we're not going to take it laying down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what kind of Jim Crow you trying to enforce. We're going to come back at you in the law, in the legal system. And so we're going to do that thing. Hey, Mel said, I'm trading my car for a truck so you can carry more people to the polls. I know you're right.
I know that's right.
I don't know if that's what she meant. Is that what you meant, Mel?
No, I don't think she can take more people and come back alone. Mel, we try to get clarity as to what you mean. Are you trying to carry more people out so you can come back alone, or what? Listen, I love SK said, stay aware. We got to stay aware. Listen, don't be in the dark ages. Don't be in the dark. Make sure you get a good understanding what's going on in your community and in the land, because the people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. That's what the Bible said. And if you don't know what's going on, what you don't know will kill you. I do want to give this shout out for the Rebel Inc. She didn't put that up, but I did. Please join her oh, wait a minute. No, that's for me, isn't it? Okay.
I was going to say, that's your show.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so y'all see, listen, spiritual thought leader wasn't spiritual right then. Even spiritual they have times when they're not spiritual. Listen, I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. I'm trying to see. Mel said y'all know her too well.
Right.
She gonna load her truck down and come back alone. King Coochie, you know I love you, man. I love you. You are my sire always, and I appreciate you. To everybody that's in this chat, but you're not actually talking, you're out there and you're listening. There's many of you out there. I appreciate you for coming, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Patreon, Discord, wherever you're accessing us from. I'm glad that you're here. And we will be back next week. As I said, we're sending out our kind of love and prayers to Rhonda Royal, who has a loved one in the hospital that she's attending to. So our prayers and our love are going out to her tonight and all during the week as she journeys on. She doesn't journey alone because this is Yes You with Friends, and friends are here for friends. Jonna, I appreciate you. Tyrone, I appreciate you. And to everybody that came in the chat and made this night possible, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I always like to close with Rhonda Royal's words of admonition. Listen, if you don't deal with it, it will deal with you.
Amen.
Peace for your journey.